Hello, my friend. Welcome in your Light Enroll channel, Light Code channel, and welcome in a new episode. In this episode, we are going to find out what is the HTTP request, how to create one, how to create a data form, and how to send the data from the data form into the application by using the request helper. What is the request? In fact, HTTP request, Laravel, this address, eliminate HTTP request class, provide an object-oriented way to interact with the current HTTP request, which sending by the user, being handled by your application, as well as retrieve the input cookies and files that were submitted with the request from the interface from the user to our application. Let me go to VS Code and starting the work. This VS Code. So I need a new terminal, new command line. First of all, I need to create a resource controller. After that, I need to create data form and then execute one route for calling this controller. So let me starting the work. PHP artisan make colon controller. I name it create, for example, create capital controller, I think is correct. After that, we need to use this helper dash resource and hit enter. Yes, this created for us a new controller in app HTTP controller. This controller created for us. This contain all function user maybe need for interactive with database. After that, we need to create a new view page and set a new data form in this page. So I go to the views and here I click hit enter and say create a new page. I named it, give it name create, for example, create.blade.php. This blade e.php php and hit enter. Created for us a new page. For saving time, I go to the browser and go to the Bootstrap site and copy template HTML page. So I go to the browser and in the Bootstrap, I copy this template page for the saving time and create many change in this page and create data form by this page. So I copy here, click here, enter, and copy this template and come back to the VS Code, and here I say, for example, paste. So I need to activate JavaScript, so I remove this comment creator and activate these two tags. So this ready to work. Now I say change this data form, for example, data form. Let me make space here and capital this letter form. So after that, I need to create a new data form. So I need delete this and create a new div. make the data form the center of the page. So I say div, and in the div hit enter, and here I say class, I think dflex, yes, d-flex, -flex, and justify, and dash content, I think, I guess content, dash center, empty, margin top, I need this be 4. This div will create our data form in the center of the page. After that, I need another div, this div, and say div, Mr. Div, and hit enter, and here this div, we need this for create background for our data form. So we say class, and width of this 40/100, so we say width on 40. After that, padding will be 3, and background BG will be secondary gray, I think, gray, secondary, and texit will be white, I think. Also, I need to create, now I need to create form data. So I say, I write form, yes, form, this suggested for us, and say, and this form, first of all, I need to create action, let me say action, T-I-O-N, action, I-O-N, and equal, and here this empty now. So after that, I say the class, for example, class, I think it will be, say, background BG slate, and this slate will be 200, and margin will be 4, and padding also 4. Yes, and this form method will be post, shift POST, because we need to send data to the application, and for protecting our the application from any Siberian attack, we need to add this CRF protection. So assign CRF protection, it will be here, must be here, we needed it. So I need to create 2 text box, and simple text box for sending data to our application. So I say div, and in this div I say it margin, this div will be class M example, class, and m margin will be 2, and pending also p will be 2. And for this ticket bus we needed a label, so I say label is label. I named it, give it name, for example, first name and column, and in this label we need to, after that, need input, tag input for creating text box input, and say input, this type will be text type, text. I think this enough. And name of this type name is name. We need name. We say it first name. Copy this div, I think, for saving time. Control C, and here Control V, and change it last name, for example, last, and text it, and here change a simple, a bit change, last name. I think this is enough. After that we need add the button, so this form, and here we create a new div and say control button, this button, and I think this sound, yes, type will be submit, type submit, and here we give it name, for example, send data, or create is fine, send data. Okay, I think this is enough. And this also maybe have the same class, Control C, and here say Control V. This is our form for sending data. Now we need to create a new route for this. So I say I go to the here, and I will change this for this page. What is named this create? I say create for saving time. So I need a new route. I say route, and it will move automatically. Correct resource. This thing, and here and say, for example, create, for example. After that, comma, and call the class. We name it. We give it name create controller. Colon class, and semicolon. Okay. Let me added this. Call this route in the data form. So I go to the blade page.php, and in the action, where is the action? Master form action. I say here calibrate this and say route, and let me call this and say here route and parentheses, and the parentheses I call this, I create route, for example store, I go back to the controller, create controller, and make many change in the store function. Where is the store function? Mr. Store function. I think in the, for testing, I say dump, for example here, parentheses, $request, I call this request, and here I say give us all data you have, and hit enter. So after that we need to upload our project on the browser, on the XAMPP local server, and after that we activate our program. So go to the XAMPP, this stop and start again. Yes, it started. Okay. I need to upload our project, php artisan serve, and hit enter. Yes, it uploaded fine. So I go back to the browser and say local host 8000. Yes, data form. I create mistake. I must delete from this here and edit it here. So I go back to the create a blade. Where is this data form? Exit from here, and I will be edit it here. Control V and say H2. I think this H2 is enough, and so I need to change in the background of this submit, say class btn dash primary, I think, if I write correct. So let me refresh this form again. Yes, this works fine. So for testing our work, I need to send some data here. For example, I say Masoud, my name is, and my prism, so I send it. Yes, okay, our work fine. You can see here the first name Masoud and the last name, it show here prism. In this episode we learn how to can create data form, how can to create resource controller, how can show the data which received from the user or from the interface. And this in this token created automatically by the CRSF protection for protect our application from the any Siberian attacks. So let me show you again what you doing this in this episode. In this episode, we in first step we create table data form, and by data form we familiar with Bootstrap in the quick grasping. After that we create a resource controller, and we use this variable we created automatically from request, and by dump we can show all data. And in this episode also we are familiar with Bootstrap and how we can create data form, how we can access the data. I think this this enough for this episode. Thank you for watching. I also wish let's see you in a new episode. Thank you for watching again, and God bless you.